Hello Misfits and welcome. In today's video, we are talking about why reaching level 20 in D&D is so rare. You may know from personal experience or from your friends that play, but very few people actually make it to level 20, let alone playing as a level 20 character, and well, there's reasons for that, and we're gonna get into that today. It should be noted that we are talking about 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, and these are just my own thoughts and opinions based on my own observations and feelings. I have no doubt that I will say something that somebody does not agree with, so just take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. Okay, let's go. Before we get any further, I do want to talk to you guys about Into the AM. Into the AM is a men's apparel brand that values self-expression and creativity. Since 2012, they have been creating premium apparel that elevates self-expression and just so happens to be extremely comfortable. They sell high-quality joggers, t-shirts, hoodies, and much, much more, and they actually have a few bundles going on. You can get 3 graphic tees for $61.95, and you can also get 3 basic tees for $52.95. They have also graciously asked me to join their partner program, meaning that if you use the code Misfit at checkout, you can get 10% off site-wide. Using this code also helps me out, which is pretty cool. Into the AM really cares about customer satisfaction. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee and pride themselves on hassle-free returns and fast shipping. I personally really like their graphic tees. They are honestly, not lying, some of the most comfortable t-shirts I own, so they're definitely a go-to when I want something that's like colorful and fun, but also just really comfortable to wear. They have really creative and intricate designs that are eye-catching while still being really comfortable, and some of them really pop, but they also have some that are a little bit more understated and subdued if that's more your vibe. So be sure to go check out Into the AM, and don't forget to use the code Misfit to get that 10% discount. Okay, so reaching level 20. It's very rare, doesn't happen super often, and then if you do reach level 20, that's probably right where it stopped and you never actually got to play around as level 20. So why is that? Well, I've boiled it down to like 5 reasons, and I'm sure there's more than this, but this is the list I've got for this video. So, number 1, time commitment. So the time it would take to get a character from level 1 all the way to level 20 is not a small amount of time, okay? I normally run campaigns that last like 2 years, and I've never gotten my characters from level 1 to level 20. Now, a lot of this hinges on how long your sessions are and how often your group meets to play, but it can take a substantial amount of time. So, unfortunately, a lot of times, tables don't have that kind of time commitment. The group might fizzle out before the campaign finishes, or scheduling conflicts just make it really difficult for it to happen. You know, there's burnout that happens, and so, like, you know, we just don't want to spend all that time on one campaign. We want to switch over to something else. There's a lot of reasons why people don't have the ability to commit the time to getting your character all the way to level 20, but that is a big part of it. Number 2, story reasons. So a big part of these campaigns where a character might get close to level 20 is the story. It's a big overarching story where your characters have arcs and, you know, quests, and the story is progressing throughout the entire thing. And a lot of times your story is gonna conclude before you reach level 20. Either it will just naturally conclude, or it's designed to end before you get to that level where you are basically a god. So when you get to level 20, you are pretty overpowered. You just are. And there are only a handful of stories that probably lend themselves to following a group of characters that can't be beaten. I'm not saying that you can't pose challenges to a group of level 20 characters, but it's hard and it is rare. So story reasons are a big part of why you might not get to level 20. I can speak from my own experiences. I have yet to have a campaign where the story really lends itself to those characters getting all the way up to level 20. My last really big campaign lasted about 2 years long, and they got up to level 15, and the story just sort of naturally concluded around that point. That's just sort of how it worked out. It's not necessarily that I put a hard cap at the story at level 15, but that's, by the time they were level 15, they were able to resolve the main issue of the story, and the campaign ended. So I imagine a lot of other campaigns are kind of the same way, where, you know, you just get to a point where you've kind of accomplished, you know, the big quest, the big goal of the story, and that's it. Number 3, the system itself doesn't really design adventures for level 20 characters. If you look at pretty much any campaign module, it's not really meant to carry your characters all the way up to level 20. Most published campaign modules normally carry your characters through level 10, or maybe as far as like 13 to 15, but I personally have not seen a campaign module that takes your characters all the way up to level 20. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I personally have not laid my eyes on one. But yeah, so the system itself, in the materials that they are publishing for the players to use, aren't really putting out stuff that helps you run a game at that level. And so that's going to hinder things for a lot of people. Even if you're running a homebrew campaign, you're going to be pulling a lot of inspiration from the different campaign modules that get published. So if those materials don't have anything really designed for level 20 characters, then it makes sense that your own homebrew world probably won't have much stuff for them either. Number 4, it's honestly kind of difficult to have encounters that pose a threat and challenge to level 20 characters. Most D&D parties are going to be able to tackle the high-level creatures in the monster manual when they near the end of their campaign. I am talking things like a lich in its lair, or beholders, ancient dragons, hydras, krakens, all of that stuff. Normally, when you get towards the end of your campaign, you're able to tackle monsters of that level. You can even tackle them before you reach the end of your campaign if you are working smartly and working together. If a party of level 10 characters can tackle a threat like that, then a party of level 20 characters is, well, it's not going to be hard for them. And this is where it's really going to boil down to the Dungeon Master's abilities to design encounters, which kind of rolls into my next point. Number 5, the encounter balancing breaks down when we get into these upper levels of play. I touched on this a little bit in my last video about balancing encounters, and yeah, once you get into those upper levels of play, it just totally breaks down. The system doesn't really know how to account for characters of that level. It doesn't know to account for the kinds of magic items they might have, the just absurdity of some of the spells they can cast, and of course the action economy is going to get upset at this level as well. Your characters are going to be able to take more actions than they could before. The things they are able to accomplish at this level are, you know, on a god tier, and it's just going to be really hard to balance an encounter for that. It's certainly not impossible, but as many people said on my last video, and something that I agree with, balancing an encounter is an art, not a science. You're going to have to really know your party. You're going to have to know how to wear them out or trick them into burning some of their abilities and spells so that you can get off some of your own crazy spells and actions and feats as well. So when you get to this level, it's going to be, you know, like one of the hardest games of chess or poker you've ever played. I hope I've made it clear that I'm not saying that playing at level 20 is impossible. It certainly is possible, but it just doesn't happen very often, and people might be wondering why, and these are the reasons. I know I've said already that I've not run a game with my characters at level 20, but I am actually going to fix that here pretty soon. So a bunch of people at my table are getting together, and we're gonna play a one-shot together, and I have told them that they can create a level 20 character, and we're gonna see what happens. And I imagine it's gonna be a little bit chaotic, but I am doing my best to prepare for it, and I'm basically just completely ignoring, like, the stuff that's said on Kobold Fight Club or D&D Beyond in terms of how difficult the encounter is and stuff, because it's just not gonna matter anymore. But yeah, I'm gonna try it out and see how it works. This is sort of a test run for some stuff I'm hoping to get to in the next campaign that I run, so that's a big part of why I am doing that. Another thing on the subject of high-level play, I actually recently picked up a book off of DM's Guild called Uncaged Goddesses, and this is actually specifically designed for high level of play, like level 17 through level 20, and I've been poking around in it a little bit, and I'm pretty impressed. There are definitely a lot of, like, quests and adventures where they have really put in a lot of thought into how to balance things out for a party that is absurdly powerful. There are also some things in here that still give me just a little bit of pause. There was one, like, random encounter that you could get that was like your party versus 14 shadows, and that seemed, I don't know, part of me really wants to play that out just to see how that would go. I still think that just piling on a bunch of enemies is not the way to go. But that's what inspired the, like, party of 4 versus 53 shadows in my last video. If you were curious, that was inspired by something. But yeah, I want to play some of the stuff that's in that book and test it out and see how it goes. So, whenever I finally do that, it'll probably be a while from now, I'll try to remember to let you guys know how it went and how the book is. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you want to support me and this channel, of course, feel free to like and subscribe, but more importantly, leave a comment down below. If you think there is something else sort of contributing to the rarity of high-level play, specifically reaching level 20, please leave me a comment and talk to me about it. The engagement on this video is really what helps other people see it, so I would love for us to be discussing the game with each other, and I would love to hear your thoughts, because you guys always have such interesting things to say, and you've all experienced a bunch of different types of games, and I just want to hear from you guys. But yeah, with all of that said and done, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you again next time. It is finally summer for me. School is out, and I am out of the school building, and I am not going to go back until August, and I'm pretty pumped about that. There's certainly stuff that I hope to accomplish over the summer. I have some video ideas and things that I want to start working on, so I'm hoping now that I have some free time, I will get to do that, but I'm just so excited and so relieved. It was just I had my eyes on the finish line, and I was gonna reach it, and sometimes the days just felt so long that I wasn't sure if we were gonna make it, but by God, we made it. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm sure you can see the relief on my face, and hopefully some of this will reflect in, like, some fun videos to come. I don't know. It'll probably take some time to get some of that work done, so I don't want to, like, build that up and then have you waiting for, like, months for that to happen. But whatever. It's too late now. I've already said the things. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Yeah, and I'll see you next time. Bye.